Hi, my name is Laura. I am from Massachusetts, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about my experience working with Derek and Nidra. So I got sick almost 3 years ago this summer, and I ended up having an Epstein-Barr virus reactivation, which I didn't even find out until like 5-6 months into being sick. So it was like a long road going from doctor to figure out what I even had. And the symptoms from it just continued to go on and last, not go away, no matter what supplements I tried, because I ended up going to like different holistic doctors, and I even tried that IV ozone, which is supposed to like clean out your blood and then like put it back into you, and that didn't work for me. And then I found out about a year into being sick, I went to an infectious disease specialist because it had been a year and I was like, I am not better at all. And he basically ruled everything out and said, because we've ruled everything out, you have chronic fatigue syndrome, which the name doesn't even do the symptoms justice, but he basically was like, there is no cure for this. This is how you're going to be, like, from now on. And I was infuriated. I'm so young and I have so much of my life left. And I was just, I wasn't going to accept that. I was like, no, I'm going to keep going. I'm not stopping until I find something that works for me. I need to be better. I'm getting better. So to go into the symptoms a little bit of the Epstein-Barr reactivation into the chronic fatigue syndrome, I guess it's less about the diagnosis and more about what I was feeling. But I had this extreme, debilitating, life-altering fatigue, life-shattering fatigue, to the point where it was so painful. Like, I was in a constant state of pain. Like, my head and my eyes, it felt like somebody was like ripping my eyes and like my brain into the ground. That's like the type of, it was like this pulling fatigue pain that was there 100% of the time. And also, it was deep within my body. I was so weak and heavy. My body felt like cement. It felt like I was just being like pulled into the ground. My bones, my arms. Walking was so hard. Talking was so hard. Getting up to like get a glass of water, like getting myself up and like walking to the refrigerator was so hard. I could not take care of myself. And there were a bunch of other symptoms on top of it as well. There was a constant state of dizziness, constant brain fog. I was even losing like my memory. Like, I was forgetting I would say things or do things. It was hard for me to form like sentences but everything was just so debilitating. There was aching in my bones, this deep ache and pain. Then, of course, there was just debilitating insomnia on top of it, because even though the fatigue was so great, it was like all the pains that were associated with it all like kept me up. And then there was also just this anxiety, constant state of like my heart beating, and I'd never ever felt any of these symptoms before. And it was just, I don't even know how I went on. It amazes me. I don't understand how I pushed through, but I couldn't even work a job. I was working a 9 to 5. I was working at a desk, like remotely on a computer, and I had to go on a leave of absence from work because I literally could not work. It was just I was like incapacitated, and I was always used to being like a very active, healthy person, and it was incredibly scary and terrifying that all of a sudden my entire life was just, it was over. Like, it really was, it felt like it was over. And when that infectious disease specialist basically was like, yeah, this is it for you, that's how I took it anyways. It was just, it was the worst moment of my life. And I was, like I said, I was determined to live. And the other symptoms I forgot to mention, there were just so many that it's like I'm probably passing through a lot of them, but I couldn't, like, no amount of rest and no amount of sleep helped at all. So even if I got 8 hours of sleep, even if I got 10 hours of sleep, even if I got like 6 hours or however, or like the perfect amount of REM cycles, I would wake up and feel like I didn't sleep at all. Naps, I didn't help. And the longer I was sick, the harder it was for my body to actually like sleep and rest, because like all of a sudden there was this anxiety that popped up and my heart was beating, and so I couldn't even get the rest I needed, even though the rest didn't help. But it's just the fatigue and the weakness and the aching was just, I felt like my body was dying. Like I felt like I was giving out. And when the doctor told me like there's nothing we can do, like this is how you're gonna be, I thought to myself, what? Like I expected to I don't know, have him diagnose me with something that's like terminal because of how terrible I felt. And I thought to myself, I'm not living the rest of my life like this. Like, I need to find a way out. Like, I'm not accepting this. I have things to do in this life. So I didn't give up. It was so hard though. Like, a lot of days there was, I mean, I lost all hope, and I'm sure if you're watching this, you can relate to it. But I mean, there were days when I would have like 0.001% of hope, and I truly don't get how I don't know how I went on. But the only thing that I think motivated me was the maybe there was a possibility I could like live again and get my life back. And I was so young. I'm still so young. And anyways, so about a year and what was it, like a year and a half into being sick, trying things and not working, and then I found acupuncture, or well, actually my mom suggested it, and I thought to myself, oh my gosh, maybe this is going to work because it deals with the energy in your body. And I thought, oh well, that's different. Like nothing I tried, like the supplements and like the ozone IV thing, didn't deal with like the energy in my body, so maybe this is something that could work. But at the time I was starting it, I thought to myself, like, I need a backup. And that's when I was like researching, and then came across Derek and Nidra. After 8 months into acupuncture, I thought, you know what? I really need something else. I really, really need something else, because I have this gut feeling in my body that like this is so deep. Like this fatigue, this weakness, this pain, this constant fight and flight in my body was just so deep, and felt like there was like 500 layers of it. And so that's why I thought to myself, I want to do something else. And lo and behold, I get a text from Derek and Nidra saying, hey, a spot opened up. And so it was weird because it was like perfect timing. And so I decided to join the group program. And I mean, ever since I started working with Derek and Nidra, like I honestly noticed changes right away, emotional changes. And like that first week, and I don't know if I like expected to have changes. I know Derek does the scan of your body, and I hope I'm describing that correctly, but to basically see if he can work with you and your energy patterns and everything. And so when he like approved me and said, yeah, like I think I could help you, I figured like, oh, okay, like I'm gonna notice some changes, but I guess I didn't realize I would notice them. Like for me, it happened right away with emotional changes, but the physical changes I didn't notice until later. But even the emotional changes starting it, I mean, I can't even describe how helpful that was, because I know if you're going through something like this, you know how isolating it can be. And I didn't even talk about like the emotional symptoms on top of all these physical symptoms, but like it is so isolating, and nobody understands you, especially with like a chronic illness. They think you're fine. Oh, you look fine, so you're fine. People push you too much, like, come on, let's go, like, why are you laying down, or what? And it's just, it was just so upsetting. And even like my mind was constantly just in a state of like worry and anxiety, being like, oh my god, am I gonna get my life back? When am I gonna get my life back? If I do, then here's my plan of what I want to do and accomplish. But oh my gosh, now I can't accomplish these things because I'm just so sick. But I knew I was getting better, but then there was still like, I was still debilitated. And anyway, so they really helped with all those thoughts, just doing what they said to do, because they'll tell you like what to do on your own to basically like further your healing. And so I did those things, and it really did help me emotionally. It gave me more hope, like, whoa, okay, like this is doing something. So then after doing the group for a while, I actually noticed like a bigger jump in like the fatigue lessening. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, whoa, like this is happening. And I started to feel like, because my body was so dense, so also a good way to describe it, it was very like dense and heavy. And doing this, and yeah, just doing the energy healing work that they teach you to do, it made me feel like lighter, and it made me, hopeful, but also like my body at one point, I felt like a little spur of energy, which I hadn't felt for years. I mean, it wasn't like I jumped up and was like miraculously better, but it was a really good feeling. I was like, oh my gosh, like I think my body wants to kind of move. Like maybe I can go on a walk now. And so then I just continued to feel like more and more of that. And I would have so many moments where I would like freak out to myself, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just like went on that walk, and I can't believe it. And I don't feel like my body's going to collapse. And so then I decided to do the individual healing because I was, I was just ready. I was ready that I felt like my body was doing what it was supposed to do. And so it continues to, I'm still working with them, and my body continues to improve. And I truly am in awe. Like every time I notice improvements, I'm in so much awe because it's just truly life-changing. Like my body now, I think I might be back at my energy. Like my body doesn't feel dead inside. It feels alive. I'm still working through other symptoms, so I'm still need to take it easy and continue this energy work because I want more healing. I want to get back to my normal self, but I am I'm just so much closer than I have ever been. Like the past, 2021, 2022, 2023, me at this point, at any of those past years, could have only dreamed to feel how I feel now. And I'm not even fully back yet, but I feel like it's, I can see the finish line, and I'm really, 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 really excited. And so, I went from my body being in a state of like constant pain. If I wasn't like asleep, then I was in pain. So like every waking moment, it was not, even though I was always resting, laying down in the couch in different locations, I didn't feel good because I was resting. I was in physical pain, and it was like Groundhog Day, just over and over. My body went from that to like, now I'm standing here today and I don't feel those pains, and I'm still working through the fatigue and the weakness and some of, the pain or the aching, but it's like so much less than it was before. And I mean, I truly feel like this is a miracle, and I don't take it lightly that I came across Derek and Nidra and that what they're doing is working for me. I feel really, really grateful and lucky that this is, I mean, it's working. So I'm going to continue to work with them and do the work so I can get there. But I hope that this video inspires you to just keep going and to never ever give up on yourself, because it's your life. Like you get to live it, and don't listen to anybody who is trying to tell you like you're never going to get better, you're not okay, or you don't look sick, or whatever the naysayers are saying. It's just focus on what you want. You want your life back. You can get it back, and keep pushing. I know what it's like to have like no hope and close to no hope, and now I truly have like so much hope, and it really feels just magical. And working with Derek and Nidra, they're like the two sweetest people I think I've ever met in my entire life. They're just so awesome, and you can just tell through the screen that they're like just genuine and kind, and they really do want to help people, and I love working with them. I just think they're so cool, and just it blows my mind what they can do and just what they've done for so many people. They've given so many people their lives back, and so Thank you, Derek and Nidra, and I wish you all the best on your healing journeys.